bigger in the upper body. Just how much muscle have you put on the last couple of months?
I definitely put on a lot. Been out in Arizona, just continue to work out and grind, putting the right things in my body, learning how to eat differently. It's definitely helping a lot. So,
thank you, Rashad. Thank you, Doogie. Let's go to Daniel House.
Hey, Rashad, as you've been preparing for the draft, which areas of your game are you focusing on improving?
all aspects, like I always have. Being a receiver, you got to be able to do everything. So just continue to focus on my routes, hands, strength, everything all around. Just because in the NFL, you need to be ready for everything. I just been grinding on every single thing that I could think of.
We do have some people who are still joining us, so just a reminder, send me a message in chat and we'll take questions from there. Now let's go to Andy Greeter at the Pioneer Press.
Hey, Rashad, how are you?
Doing well, you?
Good, good. I wanted to ask you about Ben St-Juste. You guys have gone up against each other in one-on-ones and 7-on-7 and team stuff. Any memorable battles with him in practice or scrimmages or anything?
There's not one that just sticks out to me. I just know every single day me and Ben went against each other. We gave each other a run for our money. Ben is definitely probably by far the best DB that I've ever faced in my career. So anybody that drives him, again, one heck of a athlete, and also a good person. So I know Ben's going to put on the show tomorrow too and prove a lot of teams wrong as well.
What kind of scouting report would you give on him?
Defensive back. All around. Because that's what he is. He can play outside. He can play inside. Probably can play safety if you need him to. He's just a pure breed athlete. He got good feet. He's long and physical. He can catch the ball as well, and he's proven all of those things, and it's all on tape. So I know he's going to continue to showcase that.
Let's go to Joshua Allen with Bucks Report. Joshua.
Hey, Rashad, how are we doing?
Doing well, you?
Good. Just wondering, who have you kind of leaned on throughout this process to pick their brain? Any, former players or current players, the whole, pro day, pre-draft, all that stuff that goes into it. And have you had any conversations with the Buccaneers during the pre-draft process?
Everything is confidential on teams that I'm talking to. That will not be released or talked about really. But also I've talked to Tyler a lot. Always. Tyler's like my big brother. And then being out at ETSOs, I've been around Odell Beckham and DK Metcalf. So just seeing those guys train and being able to be in the same room as them, seeing how they work, and them just giving me a little advice that I can take and use in my everyday life. I've been very grateful for that. So those are probably some of the guys that gave me some advice.
Awesome. Best of luck on the journey.
Thank you.
Let's go to Gonzalo Fabry with No Huddle.
Hey, Rashod, here Gonzalo from Ohio, Argentina. How are you?
I'm doing well. I think that's what you asked. I can really hear you. You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think, sorry. My question is, did you have the opportunity of talking with Antoine Winfield? You were teammates the last year in the Minnesota program. Did he talk about what it means to a player to be at the professional level?
Oh yeah, I definitely talked to Antoine and Tyler, both of them a lot. Both of them have just gave me the same advice, just continue to be myself, go out and play football. We've played football all our lives, it's kind of what we were born to do, we love the game. But Antoine is a professional, just like Tyler is. He go out and he handle his business. I've always been close to those guys since been in college, and I've watched them do everything at a professional level. So they just giving the same advice to me on that.
Thank you, and good luck.
Let's move to Andrew Freeman. Andrew.
Hey, Rashad, I appreciate your time today. Andrew Freeman from the Bear Report. Just want to get a sense of, which wide receivers in the NFL that you like to study and which wide receivers that you'd like to kind of mold your game around as you transition to the next level.
There's just not one receiver that I pick from that I want to model my game after. NFL receivers are in the league for a reason. I study a lot of them. I just don't pick one. There's a lot that I learn from about it because everybody do things differently. So I just think studying receivers in general and NFL that are successful, I feel that I find ways to add in my game. So it's just a study habit that I got, and I look forward to continuing that study habit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Rashad. Let's go to Jacob Infante. Jacob.
Hey, Rashad, Jacob Infante, Windy City Gridiron. Appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us today. When watching your tape, one thing that sticks out to me is just your overall IQ as a route runner and how you utilize your different releases off the snap and attack leverage points. Can you speak a little bit to that and what goes into your mind pre-snap and post-snap in terms of what to look for in opposing defensive backs?
It just comes with a lot of practice, to be honest. Playing up under Coach Fleck and having Coach Simon right there in my corner. Coming into college, I learned a lot from them, and then it also comes with studying NFL receivers and just continuing to work on your craft in that area. When I go up to play, everything depends on what the DB's doing. It depends on how I've seen them in film, what they've done in previous games. And then I just take it to the field. I take what I learned in practice, and I take what I learned from my coaching staff, and I just apply it in the game.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rashad. Let's go to Orlando Ledbetter with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Yeah, Rashad, D-Led from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. How'd you get up to Minnesota from Tiff County, and how tough was it for the family to come see you and everything?
Choosing Minnesota was not a hard decision for me, and holding my commitment here was not a hard decision for me. Minnesota was the first Power 5 school to give me the opportunity to fulfill my dreams of playing Division I Power 5 football. They gave me the opportunity, and I committed right on the spot, and I never looked back. That's just how recruiting works. All the other teams came in to offer it just because Minnesota did, and I didn't fall for the trick that they wanted to pull. And I built a strong relationship with this coaching staff and this community. Minnesota is a place that I always come back home to. It's a place that I'll love forever. So I'm just grateful to be here. And I'm a Minnesota boy.
Thank you.
Andre Robinson, go ahead.
Hey, Rashad, what's going on? Congratulations on your journey to the NFL, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I was looking on some mock drafts. They have you at number 4, the 4th best available wide receiver. But my question is, what makes you better than the other 3? And what do you think you need to work on as far as transitioning your game from the collegiate level to the NFL level?
Those are rankings, sir. I don't get too much caught up in that stuff. Time will always tell, and time is going to prove everything. Just to put my head down and continue to work. I don't get too much caught up in that stuff, and I believe in a higher power. You know, God has a destination for me, and I'm gonna go wherever I'm needed and wherever I'm wanted. And that's the mindset that I have, and that's the mindset that I'm going to continue to have.
Anything you need to work on?
Everybody needs to work on everything. I think there's no perfect receiver, and I'm not close to perfect. So I'm just going to keep my head down like everybody else and continue to work.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's go to Ben Gessling with the Star Tribune.
Yeah, Rashad, in terms of tomorrow, what's the biggest thing you're hoping to show teams as part of the pro day workout?
I just need to go out and show them everything that I got, and not leave nothing on the field. I have a lot to prove. I always have, but I'm just excited to go out there, prove who I am, prove that I can play at the next level, and prove that I'm an elite receiver. I'm not looking for anything specific. I'm just going to go out there and be me and perform.
Over to Akeem Richens. Akeem.
Rashad, how you doing?
Well.
Akeem Richens, built in Buffalo. Quick question for you. How would you describe your game to a person that never saw you play before? Evaluate yourself as a player.
I would just say all around. I could play in the slot, I could play in the outside, and I've proven that, and I put it on tape. Very detailed route runner. I can catch the ball very well, and I am fast, even though some people doubt that. But I just feel like I'm the whole package, and Coach Fleck and Coach Simon and University of Minnesota and my teammates have done a good job of preparing me to be in this position that I'm in now. So I'm just going to go out and prove myself.
Nice, thank you.
Over to Daniel House.
Hey, Rashad, you just announced your partnership with Team Brax today. What does that involve, and how special is it to use your platform to make a difference?
That's my number one job as an athlete, is to spread positivity and send a positive message. Brax is a very important person to me, and she's a very important person to the University of Minnesota and the state of Minnesota. So just me using the platform that I have to be able to raise money to help other kids. I just think it's special. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than gymnastics. So being able to do that to help these kids out in any way possible is probably one of the things that I've been most excited about this far going through this process. And I look forward to doing more things for her and foundations to be able to help different people out. As an athlete, this is my #1 priority, like I said. So I look forward to continue to do things like this.
Over to Andy McDonald.
Hey, Rashad. Hope everything's going well with you. Hey, I had a question kind of about the rankings as well, and I know you don't go into it, but when the wide receiver class includes a Heisman Trophy winner, how much does it motivate you to go out and prove yourself? And how much did it, coming out of high school, you said something similar, but how much motivation do you get seeing other guys get these accolades that pushes you to be a better wide receiver?
I believe in a higher power, and whatever happens, happens. I'm going to just be me and go to work.
Thank you. Let's go to Jeff Wald. Jeff.
Hey, Rashad, it's good to see you. I guess I have 2 quick ones here. First of all, I'm sure playing at the NFL level has been a lifelong dream for you. Have you taken a chance to kind of wrap your head around what it would be like to hear your name called on draft night? And the second part, have you formalized your plans for where you're going to be draft night? Are you going to be at the draft? Are you going to be with friends and family? Just kind of clarify that if you could.
Day by day, every day I wake up going through this process, I'm just like, wow, like it's getting closer. It feels real, but it doesn't feel real. It's just full of excitement, really. But I'll be back home with my family in Tifton to celebrate that, just to make sure that I can have the people that I care about with me during this important time.
Back to Andy Grieder.
Rashad, I wanted to ask you about your 40-yard dash. I know you and your reps put out a laser time earlier this year. Why did you feel like you needed to put that out? And are you planning on running a 40 tomorrow?
I am planning on running the 40 tomorrow, and I put that time out just because there's doubt about my speed. But like always, I'm going to just go to the grass and improve it.
Let's go to Griffin Floyd.
Hey, Rashad, much has been made of your activism off the field, changing your number and just kind of speaking out about the injustices in society. I was wondering if you had any plans to continue that activism once those NFL paychecks start hitting, and what your purpose is there.
I think that I will. The NFL paychecks haven't even hit yet, and I'm already involved with the community, such as doing things for Braxton, because that's important to me, and it's important to my family for us to do things like this. It's not about the money whatsoever, but I will be involved in doing things like this for the rest of my life.
I see one more question in chat. Just a reminder, we have a couple more minutes left with Rashad, so if you have additional, send me a message and we'll get to you. And right now we'll go to Darren Wolfson. Darren.
Rashad, why do those questions exist about your speed? Why do you think?
No idea, to be honest. A lot of us are still trying to figure that out.
To Daniel House.
Rashad, I know you were working out in Arizona and you mentioned talking with Odell Beckham. Has he given you any advice about the pre-draft process and getting ready for this?
The advice that he gave me, I'll never forget it. He said, be you and have fun. A lot of guys get stressed out around this time. A lot of guys in the NFL get stressed out. A lot of guys just get away from who they really are as a person. Odell's been through a lot, but he also has been very successful as well. So just having him there in my corner, somebody I really look up to, it's been important for me. So I'm gonna just take that advice, just have fun with this process and just be me.
Looks like we have one more question for Rashad. We'll finish with Andre Robinson. Andre?
I know you're looking forward to the NFL, by the way, Challenger Community News. I know you're looking forward to the NFL. Is there any matchups that you are looking forward to? Corners in the league right now, currently?
No, not as of right now. I'm just excited to be able to accomplish my dream, something that I've been working for since I was 2 years old. I'm just happy to be in this position and blessed to be in this position. Whenever that time's come, no matter who's up in front of me, they're going to get the best of me, and I know I'll get the best of them. So that's what it's all about.
All right, Rashad, that was the last question. We thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I do want to remind everyone we'll have Benjamine St-Juste. We'll probably have a 4 or 5 minute break. So we'll stop the video, we'll mute, stop the recording, and we'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Thank you all very much.
Ben, good to see you. Hope all is well. What sort of show do you plan on putting on tomorrow?
Just relying on whatever training I've been doing since January. I mean, I already knew I had the athletic ability to put on the show, kind of like how you said, and I had some time to work on January, February, March. And then, I'll just let my testing speak for itself. But so I'm very confident and I'm ready to have fun tomorrow.
All right, let's go to Joshua Allen with Bucks Report. Joshua.
Hey, how we doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. I just had a question. Who have you kind of leaned on for some advice throughout this process? The pre-draft, pro day, all that stuff. Any former players or current players that kind of pick their brain and say, hey, what can I expect? And then also, have you had any conversations with the Buccaneers in the pre-draft process?
Yeah, I lean on my former teammates. I have a lot of teammates that are in the NFL. In the beginning of the process, I reached out to Antoine Winfield Jr. a couple of times just in training, questioning and how he did it and how to just like be professional during those interviews and all that stuff. So that was cool. And then, I had the chance at the Senior Bowl to talk with Tampa Bay twice. So that was a good conversation.
Any conversations with Coach Garver?
No, not yet.
Awesome. Best of luck on your journey.
Thank you.
Over to Daniel House.
Hey, Benjamin, nice to see you. What did you take away from your experience down at the Senior Bowl in Mobile?
Overall, it was a great experience. I had the chance to really compete and compare my talent to some of the top prospects in the draft, and actually get get a little advantage of like learning some techniques and some coaching skills and tips from the NFL teams. I was with the Miami Dolphins, so having that advantage, having a little bit of time to work with them, that was really good for me.
Let's go to Andrew Freeman.
Hey, Benjamin, appreciate your time today. So first question, Andrew Freeman from the Bear Report. Have you had any conversations or met with the Chicago Bears at all? And then second question is, looking at your play style here, you're a long cornerback on the outside. Is that something that, teams have been talking about, whether, that translates to different schemes at the next level? Can you kind of take me through what kind of feedback you're getting there?
Yeah, so I mean, the perks of like being at the Senior Bowl is that all 32 teams were there. So I had the chance to meet and talk with everyone. And, obviously after that, I have like extended meetings with some teams that really like me, teams that like, my length and how I play and all that stuff. And like you said, there's a specific team in the NFL that look for taller corners like me for their schemes and all that stuff. And with my versatility, being able to play multiple positions, that helps me.
Thank you.
Let's go to back to Gonzalo. Gonzalo, go ahead.
Hey, Benjamin, here, Gonzalo from No Hire in Argentina. My question is, which player do you like to see when you watch a match at the professional level? And what do you take from them?
Player to look, like what kind of player that I like looking at my position?
Yeah, at your position and in general.
Okay, so like at my position, I have a couple players that I like. I like Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is a big physical corner, similar to me. Richard Sherman also. Growing up, I looked at Richard Sherman a lot. Student of the game, very smart, similar body shape. And then Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is another physical defensive back, and I like that. I like that about his game, and I try to model my game around him.
Thank you, and good luck.
Over to Andy Grieder.
Ben, in your 2 years going up against Rashad in practice and 7-on-7 one-on-ones, were there any memorable matchups that you guys had?
Always. I mean, every practice. I mean, he's wide receiver 1, I'm CB1. So we start off practice. It could be one-on-ones, Oklahoma drill, scrimmage, or whatever. We go at it because we know that iron sharpens iron. So he's good, I'm good. So we're going to get better going at each other.
What kind of scouting report would you give on him?
What kind of scouting? I guess there's a lot of interviews, a lot of scouting reports on Bateman. I mean, I won't give out the scoop, but like I did a couple throughout this process, and I mean, nothing but good stuff from Rashad. I mean, people had some concerns of all that stuff, but I feel like I can give the best report because I go against him every day, and he's a total package. So he's definitely gonna, whatever team he goes to, is gonna be a great asset.
Let's go to Jacob Infante. Jacob.
Hey, Benjamin, Jacob Infante, appreciate having the time to speak with you again. Talking from January, since we got to see you at the Senior Bowl, compared to now, what have you been working on the most in your pre-draft process, and where would you say you've had the most improvements in terms of your training?
So I mean, just overall in general, like I improve everywhere. This was my first like time to really perfect my craft, work on my craft, and in the weight room, speed wise, and all that stuff. Because I always had limited off season, with COVID, and the year before transferring from Michigan to here, so my off season kind of been cut short. So this time, like I really from January all the way to here, I had time to work on everything. So like working on my details, working on the smaller details, getting bigger, stronger, faster. So I feel really good overall.
Thank you.
Let's go to Dan Ralph with the Canadian Press.
Hey, Benjamin, a couple things, if I may. What are some of the goals you're working on for tomorrow that you would like to do, like maybe a 40 time or a vertical or any of the jumps? What are you hoping to, have you set any goals for yourself for tomorrow?
No, I don't really have no goals, to be honest. I know I'm going to test well. I know I'm going to do well. And then regardless of what numbers comes out or whatever, I know I'm a great athlete. I'm a great football player. So I'm just going to go out there and have fun. And, if I come out with some crazy number, then I come out with some crazy number. If not, then it is what it is, But I don't put that pressure or stress, and I don't have expectation from, people from the outside. So I guess it's just going to be a great day overall.
Look, at the other thing I wanted to ask you is yesterday, Commissioner Goodell had said that they're, that they're looking to play some regular season games up here in Canada. What would it mean for you to have an opportunity to play? I mean, up here, your hometown, the Big O has already said that they would like some games there. How would it translate to be able to come up here and play?
That'll be amazing. I mean, that'll be great representation for Canadian football and for Canadian players and stuff like that. And, the whole family, friends will be able to come see and all that stuff. So I think that'll be great. That'll be a great opportunity for me.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Let's go to John with the Toronto Sun.
Hey, Benjamin. A lot of Canadian football players that make it to the NFL I've talked to, and they all start playing football at different times, sometimes late, sometimes early. Can you just walk us briefly through your football history and any other high-end athletics past that you have?
Yeah, so I started playing football at 9 years old. My dad played high-level basketball and football, and I just asked him, like, what's your favorite sport? And he said football, so I just wanted to be like Pops. But obviously I'm from Canada, so I was skating way before I played football. I was playing hockey at 5 all the way until I was 14, and then I left hockey and then started focusing on football.
Was it a size thing? You're just getting kind of outgrowing like from a size standpoint for hockey, or was it just a love of football?
I was always very good at hockey, like starting defense and going to offense and forward. But I wanted to be different. I mean, a lot of my friends are already in the league for hockey, but not many in the NFL. So I wanted to be that kid that was different that make it to the NFL.
What friends in hockey?
Elementary school friend. I mean, I went with a lot of them. Some went with the Ottawa Senators, and some went with the Montreal Canadiens, stuff like that. So, I mean, you know how easy it is with the process of going to NHL from Canada. So, a lot of them.
How long have you had the NFL dream?
Ever since I started playing football. I mean, I feel like personally for me, if you don't have that ultimate goal of going to the NFL and really performing, I feel like your dream will kind of like die throughout the process if you don't put in the work and you don't have the motivation to reach the ultimate goal of making it to the NFL and perform there, then you'll lose motivation. You probably won't make it. So I always had that in the back of my mind. I need to make it.
Thanks, Benjamin.
Let's go to Andre Robinson. Andre. Andre, you there? All right, let's go.
All right, Hey, Benjamin, congratulations on your success and your travels to the NFL. I know one team in particular is the Seattle Seahawks. They're looking to replace a guy like Shaquille Griffin. Do you have any idea on what you want to do initially when you come into the NFL? What kind of impact you want to have?
Yeah. I mean, instant impact. It could be on defense as a starting corner or another position where they see me like fit well for their team. It could be on special team, but just regardless, I want to bring something to the team, have an instant impact on my rookie year. Being a leader, being a captain, or like performing on special team performers as a starter, and getting rookie of the year. Like just having that instant impact. That's what I'm working towards for my rookie season.
Over to Rachel Hallowell with NFL Canada.
Hi, Benjamin. Hope you're doing well. We were just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what it means to be one of a few Canadians representing Canada heading into the NFL draft this year.
It's an honor. It's an honor because growing up, we didn't have that many role models and representation in the NFL and just in college Division I football in general. So having, I think like 6 in the draft this year, that means a lot. That means a lot for the younger generation back home. That gives them hope that they can make it, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I'm trying to give back as much in my community and teach the kids and show them hope because I didn't have that when I was growing up.
Thanks a lot, Benjamin. Good luck.
Thank you.
Over to Griffin Floyd.
Hey, Benjamin. So a lot of NFL teams are transitioning to more too high safety looks, letting their defensive backs be aggressive inside and underneath. How do you see that as benefiting your, bigger physical style of play?
Well, yeah, kind of like you said, I mean, with the too high safety and being physical at the line, like that's kind of like where, I excel, being big, having long arms and having great press technique. That's just an advantage to me. Obviously, I can play multiple coverages, but if a team plays a lot of two-man high, then that just falls in, to give me a better advantage at the line of scrimmage and be able to really be in my element.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Dan Ralph. Dan?
Benjamin, I wanted to ask you, how do you stay on an even keel throughout this process? And I ask that because it's like the ultimate job interview in that there's so many pitfalls and so many highs and lows. How do you stay even keeled throughout this and not get too wound up when you do well and too hard on yourself when maybe you don't do as well as you want?
Yeah, I used to be like that. I used to be very hard on myself, but then I realized that like it's just a blessing to be in the position I am today. So just have fun with it. I just try to have fun, and I rely on the hard work and the technique that I have, and I mean, if you don't have fun playing football, like what are you doing? Like, don't put too much stress and anxiety on you. Like, you're here because you're good at it. So that's what I keep reminding myself. So that's the kind of energy I'm bringing in tomorrow. I've been doing that my whole life. Let's just go have fun with it another day.
I'm wondering what you think the biggest adjustment you're going to have to make going to the next level.
It's putting more work than like I'm putting in right now. I have great values. I have great work ethic. I work hard. I put in the extra time when people are not looking. It could be in the film meeting room or on the field, whatever. But a lot of players in the NFL do that. So I'm gonna double down on that, put in even more work. Be even more like in the film room or getting some extra work on using my resources, my opportunities so I can separate myself from the pack of players in the NFL, so I can be one of those elite players. Because obviously the NFL, a lot of people do a lot of those things. So.
And last question, if I may, in a perfect world, where would you like to start your pro career?
I'm gonna have to wait. I don't know.
You're not gonna bite, are you?
Nah, I don't. I don't know. They say it's the team that talks to you the less. You don't expect it. So I have no idea where I'm going.
Terrific. Thank you.
Back to Daniel House.
Hey, Benjamin, have any teams mentioned the possibility of playing you at safety in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it started when I was at the Senior Bowl. They gave me a couple of opportunities and reps to play at safety, and it was good, to showcase my versatility, and I felt comfortable playing there. So like every team, a lot of the teams like they interview me as a corner, but just the fact that they saw me play at the Senior Bowl like as a safety, they're like, oh, that has a little bit more value to him. So like maybe if we have corners that get a new contract there and then we need to make him play at safety, whatever, then I can step in the field and play safety or nickel or something else. So that's just good for me.
Over to Andy Gritter.
One thing with big corners is maybe a lack of movement, lack of change of direction. How do you feel like over your career or at the Senior Bowl you've worked to kind of dispel that notion?
No, I heard that my whole life, tall corners like, hips are locked or like can't move or whatever. I've always been good. I mean, you can look back to like some of those days in high school. I think I had like the short shuttle like record at 3.86. So, I mean, a 6'3", 200-some pound corner doing a 3.86 shuttle, like that's like very rare. So I take pride in that and like working my quick feet, my agility and all that stuff. So I'm not one of those stiff corners. So, and then I think I'll be able to display that tomorrow.
Go to John with the Toronto Sun.
Hey, Benjamin, you might have touched on these already, but what do you think on the field your most pro-ready attribute is, and what do you have to work on the most?
My pro attribute would be technique-wise. I rely on my technique a lot. I perfected my technique. I mean, not perfected because nothing is perfect. Obviously, I always got to put some more work in. But I feel like, press and man and all that stuff, I'm a very smart player, and I rely on my technique. I use it well. I'm a student in the game. I'm one of those guys that be in the film room and dissecting the offense and see what they're gonna do, see what my receivers doing, because that's kind of like it's 50% mental, 50% physical attribute. So if you rely on your skill in the NFL, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna make it far because you need to be a student in the game. You need to have your mental game on point. So that's why I try to work on a lot.
And what do you have to? What's the one thing you think you have to work on the most? You said that what's good, but what do you have to? What's the one thing you wish you were better at?
I'm gonna just keep working, keep putting more work on that, being that student in the game. I just recently started these last 2 years in Minnesota, really developing that skills, and I'm gonna keep doing it. That's because that's something that you can always improve on. So I'm gonna keep doing it when I go in the NFL.
Thanks and good luck.
Let's go back to Andre Robinson.
Yeah, Andre Robinson, Chandler Community News. I hear a lot about the Canadian connection that you have. What are you telling the young folks back there about, the process as far as high school to college and college to the pros and what they need to do to be successful?
Yeah, so kind of like I mentioned earlier, my DMs, my messages on social media are always open. Sometimes when guys make it, kids, they can't reach out to them. I'm one of those guys that DMs and messages and all that stuff always open. So if I have a question if I should go to this school or should I take this class or how should I take the ACT or the SET or whatever, all that stuff, I try to reach back to them and give them the information that I know because I didn't have that growing up. And that's kind of how I try to do it. And then when I'll be able to be in person, after COVID, when borders and all, borders restriction kind of come down, then I'll be able to go back, have some camps, some clinics and all that stuff and be in person and, teach those kids, how to make it.
Awesome. Community is important. Thank you.
Looks like we have two more questions. We'll go to Andy Greeter and then Daniel House. Andy?
Ben, I wanted to ask you about Coney Durr. Obviously, he could have come out this year, but didn't. And now there's a veteran cornerback still in that secondary. How would you describe him and kind of his value with him sticking around at the U for another year?
Yeah, well, kind of like a lot of people say, Coney's a dog, but he really is a dog. He knows that, he might not have the same size as other corners, but he balances it by the way he plays aggressively, violently in the run game. And, he has very quick feet. He can move fast. And I think one of the reasons why Coney really wanted to come back is that to show his versatility, playing at, the nickel a little bit more inside or showing some things that he's been working on the offseason that can really boost his draft stock up and be one of those top corners in the 2022 draft.
Daniel, go ahead.
When you sit down and watch film, Ben, which things are you looking for while breaking down a receiver?
While breaking down a receiver, I want to see his first and second down routes compared to his third down routes because teams have different concepts. They won't run the same routes. I want to see where he's at in the field. If they have him at a special position, let's say he's always at the X position and then they put him at the slot or at the Z on the third down, then I know the ball is coming to his side because he's at something special. I look at his steps, if he's counting his steps during his route, what kind of route is he running? Does he come off the ball the same way during the run game and the pass game? A lot of receivers, they be nonchalant when it's the run game. I want to see if you keep, the same energy, the same steps in the run game and the pass game. How does he come out of break? Does he push off or whatever? How does he attack the ball at the highest point? And then, just all those things that, I learned with my coaches here in Minnesota that prepped me well, which helped me going into the game. So that's why I'm not stressed when I go into the tank because I just rely on the preparation I did throughout the week. And I kind of know I can anticipate what's going to happen.
I apologize in advance if I say your name wrong. Stéphane Coderette, Journal de Quebec, go ahead.
Salut, Benjamin.
Salut.
I'm just going to ask my question in English because so everyone can get it. How much would you say that facing Rashad Bateman on an everyday basis helped you become a better cornerback?
Ça m'a vraiment aidé beaucoup. Pratiquer contre un receveur qui est de première ronde, qui est de haut calibre comme ça. C'est quelque chose qu'il y a pas beaucoup d'équipes, pas beaucoup de demi-défensifs qui ont la chance d'avoir. Puis de pratiquer contre Rashad à tous les jours, justement, comme tu dis, de compétitionner contre lui va vraiment élever mon niveau de jeu et des deux côtés, pour lui et pour moi. Puis je pense que ça va vraiment m'aider au prochain niveau.
Merci.
Ben, I'm not seeing any additional questions, so we thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining us.